Hello gamers and welcome. If you've been watching the channel lately, you've been seeing videos for arcade games here on Gamers Bay. And you've been seeing a lot of classic arcade games from the 90s and early 2000s. I thought I would do my own series of arcade games, and the best way to do that is to do them from the Atari Vault. Atari Vault is a game available on Steam, and it contains a plethora of game titles for the Atari 2600 and all of Atari, well, all or most of Atari's cabinet arcade games. And what I thought I would do is I would start a series where I would play through each of them and go as far as I can, as long as I can, with each game, and show you, each of these arcade games in turn, in each episode, and show you the early days of video arcades. These are from the 1980s. These are really early games. I'm playing them with a Steam controller. The Steam controller is really well suited for this. You can see it's really well suited for this. There's tons of options here. This was all set up for the game. These are the official configurations for each of the different arcade games that are in here. I mean, this is some impressive stuff. This is the power of the Steam controller. This is what it allows you to do. It allows you to have, all these different configurations based on what's going on in the game. Of course, there has to be a API in the game so that the controller knows when you're switching states. But yeah, this is some impressive stuff here, what this does. And so this allows you to use the Steam controller, and it will mimic things like your paddle and different controls. It does a pretty good job of it. And a lot of these arcade games will use twist knob controls, the paddle controls, twist knob controls. And this does a very good job of emulating those. So I'm going to be playing each of these arcade games, and I'm going to start with the classic. This is the original Pong. This was the first Atari arcade game, not necessarily the first arcade game ever. I believe that distinction goes to Space War, but this was the game that really popularized video games. This was the title that popularized video games. The controls were simple, easy to play, difficult to master, fairly simple concept. Technically, the idea was stolen from a different game, from what I understand, from stuff I posted in Gamers Bay in the past. They took this idea from another game that never surfaced, that was being developed originally for I think it was just a concept, and it never went to fruition. But this is a simplified version of that. And of course, we saw more advanced versions of this come out later on. So let's take a look at a few things before we actually get into gameplay. And we got the gallery here, and this shows us photos of an actual arcade cabinet. Now these are rare. The actual arcade Pong cabinets are not easy to find. These are getting to be pretty rare because these are getting old. Some of them don't work anymore because, these are from the 70s. Some of these are from the 70s, very early 80s. So their components are starting to get old. The screens are starting to get burn in. They're starting to wear out. It's difficult finding a working cabinet of some of these older titles, especially one as old as this one. So that's its design, external design. It's fairly, you know, is, you know, fairly basic design. It's not very advanced. As you note later on, arcade cabinets as we progress through this, you'll note that arcade cabinets start getting more elaborate over time. Now here's some of the paraphernalia that comes with the arcade game that was sent to arcades. This is part of the actual book that arcades would receive. Some more information and flyers here. And it would support up to 4 players. You put in 50 cents and it would support, it would support 4 players. This was a different design of the Pong machine. This was the doubles. This was the multiplayer, more than 2-player version of Pong that was made. I don't know the rarity of this one. I have seen the original Pong arcade machine. I saw it at Cedar Point when they still had the arcade in the amusement park. They had one. They actually had a working one. I've seen one there. I saw the original, but I've never seen one of these that supports 4 players. And this is another design. This one I think is pretty rare. This is the tabletop style arcade machine for Pong. This one is very rare from what I understand. It's difficult to find in working order. And you notice that this if you look at this paper, this pen darn controller. I am trying to zoom, not go. You're right. You notice it's very 70s aesthetic on here. Very 70s aesthetic. Okay, let's go back here. This is more information that was published with it. Information about it. And this is a handheld Pong. I don't know when this came out. Push. Okay. Oh. Yeah. The handheld Pong with an LCD display. Sort of looks like a Game Gear almost. And it has a cord that you can connect up to a pair of keys or connect to your pants. The keychain cord. And you carry it around in your pocket from Tiger Electronics. That's classic right there. I don't know when this came out. I remember Tiger from the late 80s. I don't remember them from the early 80s. They're more from the late 80s. So this must have been one of their earlier handhelds. Tiger made some were popular, some weren't. They made some questionable little handheld games with LCD displays, and some of them were like crap, and some of them were slightly not crap. They sold well, though. They made a lot of money with them. And we are back to this. Alright, so let's get into the game and let's watch me be really shitty with this. Okay, so the game is pretty simple. It's basically ping pong, or if you've ever played a hockey game If you ever played the hockey game in arcades, it's basically simple. You have to get the ball on the other side. You have to score a certain amount and get your ball into the goal on the other side, which is, the opposite side of the screen, sort of like ping pong. Basically what the game was designed to mimic. So let's start. Balls. I suck at this. There we go. Uh-oh. There. And what it is, I'm controlling it with my left. And I can, yes! Okay, I can control it with my right thumb instead of my left. Okay, I'm right-handed, not left-handed. There we go. Oh yeah. Revenge. Alright. There we go. Better. Much better. Ooh. Come on. Yes. Oh. Balls. Crap. Come on. All right. Yes. Still got a lead on me because I suck. One more time. Ass. Shit. Come on. Yes. Oh. Erg. And I suck at this in the arcade too. Yes. Alright. Why are these paddles so small? There we go. Alright. One more time. All right. Score. Yes. No, that's all. How you like me now? Come on. Fuck. Bounce, please. Thank you. There we go. Oh, yes. And Ah. Mmm. Okay, I need to score again to catch back up. Come on, come on, come on. Yes. Oh, yeah. I am going to beat you, you son of a bitch. Damn it. Alright, alright, alright. Let's see. Mmm. Grrr. Come on, come on. Okay. I need to catch up. I need to catch up. I need to catch up. Come on. I need to catch up. Yes! Come on. One more. I need two more. Two more to win. Two more to win. I suck. Well, no, don't go back into that. Well, this was Pong, one of the earliest arcade games out there, and I completely suck at it. So, I'm going to be going through all the games here. Let's go through the whole list of what I'm going to be playing through next time. So today was Pong, very early game. As I said, simple to play, difficult to master, as you can see. Plus also there's my vision issue. So, Red Baron. I've played this before. This was at Cedar Point. Space Duel, never played this before. Don't know if this has a single player mode, but we'll find out. Sprint, this was also at Cedar Point Arcade. I did play this. Super Breakout, played this at the Red Baron Arcade in Taylor, Michigan on Telegraph Road. So I did play this there. Tempest, played the hell out of this one. An arcade that did not have a game of Tempest was not an arcade. Period. If you didn't have Tempest, you weren't an arcade. Period. Warlords. Only version of this I ever played was on the 2600. I never played the arcade version of this. Asteroids, again, if you run an arcade and you don't have asteroids, you can't call yourself an arcade. Period. You have to have asteroids in an arcade. And, this is another one I've played a lot of. Asteroids Deluxe. Again, played the crap out of this. Every arcade needs to have one of these. Every arcade needs to have one of these. These are Asteroids and Asteroids Deluxe, and Tempest. These were all over the place. These are fairly common. So, most arcades that are still around, you should have at least one of these. Or all of them. To really call yourself an arcade. But you can still find these around. There are companies that actually will refurbish these, fix them, and get them working. If you find one that's not working, there are companies that will actually repair them. And what made Asteroids Deluxe different is that it had an overlay on the back of the display, and I think it had a few extras as well. I don't think there was ever one released for the 2600. I think there might have been one for the 7200. I don't know. Black Widow. Never played this before. I've never seen the arcade cabinet for this around, so this will be an interesting one when I get around to it. Centipede, played the heck out of this. In Detroit, the store at the store on my street, Florida Street in McGraw, where I used to live a long time ago, where I was growing up, the store had a Centipede machine. That was before they got their liquor license, and they had to get rid of the arcade. But before they got their liquor license, they had a Centipede and they had an Asteroids Deluxe there, and I played the crap out of Centipede every time I was there. Crystal Castle, only ever played the 2600 version, never played the arcade version of this before, so I'm looking forward to this one because I really liked the 2600 version. Gravatar, never played this before on either the 2600 or the arcade. And I think I've seen the arcade cabinet at Cedar Point. They had a lot of classic early 80s arcade machines there a long time ago. Liberator, never played this one, don't even know how to play this one. So I've never played this one before, so this will be an interesting one to get into. Lunar Lander, I played this one a lot. They had this at Cedar Point. They also had this, and they might still have it at the, I remember I was volunteering at the Detroit Science Center, and they had one of these on display because they were doing a NASA display, and they had one of these there. So I played this extensively. This what they had. There was another arcade I used to go to that had one of these that I played. Not frequently, but from time to time I did play this one. It's another one of those difficult to master sort of games. It seems simple to play, hard to master. Major Havoc. This was... I saw this, the only time I ever saw this arcade cabinet like this was in Fairlane Town Center in Dearborn, Michigan. There was an arcade that was over by the Sears, if I recall correctly. It was the mid to late 80s when it was there. I want to say... no, I want to say it was around 82, 83, not mid late. I would say mid-early 80s, 82, 83 when it was there. And they had stuff like, they had some of the early arcade games that used the Laserdisc video. They had Dragon's Lair there. They had a Star Trek arcade game there. And they had this machine, and I could never get to it because there was always a line around it. There was always a line in front of it because so many people were playing it. So I could never get to it, and my mom always got done with whatever she was doing. I think she was going to the hairstylist that's there in Sears. She was going to the hairstylist, and I was in the arcade playing games while I was waiting for her to get done. And I could never play this game because there was always a big crowd around it. This game drew a lot of attention. So it's going to be fun to actually be able to play this for the first time, really. I played a little bit of it before off screen before. I'm going to be able to play it for you guys. Millipede, played this some. They had a Millipede machine at the Red Baron Arcade, so I played this quite a bit. Only place I ever really saw this was in the Fairlane Town Center Mall Arcade. Only time I ever saw a cabinet like this. I've seen the tabletop style or the shorter tabletop style arcade version of this. In fact, do they have that in the art here? Okay, I've seen this one too. This is the one you actually sit inside. I've seen this one as well. I don't know how common this one is. I've only ever seen it once. I don't remember where I've seen it. And I have played the game in it. I don't remember where I saw it at. Might have been at a Chuck E. Cheese when I took... might have been a Chuck E. Cheese when I was at a family member's birthday. At a family member's birthday at one time. It might have been there. Cousin's birthday or something. I don't remember. And some of the are the tabletop. I've seen the tabletop. I've actually played the tabletop versions. It is there. And the other, the smaller cabinet, the one that's right next to the tabletop. I've seen those most of all. The larger full-sized cabinet, I haven't seen as many of those, but I've seen the smaller cabinets more. So, and we're back around the Pong. Alright, so next time I will be playing Red Baron. So we will do a more in-depth look at the gallery art for Red Baron next time. And we'll be going through all the arcade games in this list. So stay tuned. And thank you for watching me completely suck at Pong. And I thank you for coming along. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to Gamers Bay. And give this video a like if you liked it. Or hit dislike if you didn't like it. And also, hit the link in the description to go to the Gamers Bay Google Plus group and join up and join the conversation there in the Gamers Bay thread. So, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.